Alright, what's up, guys? This is Mateo Cortez, formerly known as Angry Taco Gamer here, coming at you with some new content, I might add. A little bit different from my previous gaming prediction, or not gaming predictions. What am I doing? What am I doing with my life? Gaming recordings, might I say. Yes, gaming recordings. To bring you some NFL predictions. Now, most of you might not know this, but I am an avid NFL football fan. I love football so much. Born with it, raised with it, played in it, coached in it, played video games in it, Madden Master, coming all the way now to where I am today with YouTube prediction extraordinaire. Yes, I will be predicting not the standings anymore, but I will be predicting who will win the divisions. And yeah, that's about it. It's gonna be I don't even know. It's gonna be it's like a little series, I'd say. I like it, and let me know if you enjoy it down in the comments below. And yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, the first one I decided to start with is the NFC West, which contains my favorite team, of course, the Seattle Seahawks. You already know it, baby. You already know. Now, most of you are going to be saying, oh, yeah, you're a fan. And no, I am not a bandwagon fan. I adore the Seahawks. I love everything about them. I pretty much know their whole roster. Yes, I'm being pretty cocky, a little runt right now, but I do know what I'm talking about. I'm not just another person that just thinks he knows football. Yes, I know specific things about football, and I want to share my knowledge and opinions with all y'all. Just be if you want to do anything, you can go in the comments. We have a discussion, man to man, mano a mano, all that good stuff. But yeah, we'll start with the NFC West. So let's see here. We have the Rams, the Cardinals, the 49ers, and the Seahawks. Last year was a very telling story. Mostly all three of them were not the best of the best. They all had their flaws, and it was noticeable. I'd hate to say this, but it was probably one of the worst divisions out there in terms of record-wise. But it was still a very competitive division nonetheless. Let's see. There was the Rams, LA Rams now. Formerly the St. Louis, but now LA a year into it. They had a rookie Jared Goff. They had to put in a rookie Jared Goff for how bad they were doing to just spike their attendance. It was so bad. They have a good defense. It's all right. Nothing too special. And their records is pretty telling of how they are. Gave up a first round for that guy. And yeah, I think it's going to be the same situation as last year. They'll be competitive inside their own division, but just against other opponents, they're not going to do much whatsoever. I see them going, I'll be generous, 4-12. That's a max. 4-12, 5-11, somewhere in between there. They'll win some games here and there, but besides that, they have a new coach, new system. Just give them time. They'll probably develop. They have great stars. It just depends what's going to happen after the season for me to know much about their plans. But as of right now, 4-12, I'd say that. Sorry, I wanted to do a little format change to what I was doing. But now we have the Arizona Cardinals. I'd have to say the second most competitive team in this whole division. And this season, they'll obviously be noticeably better than, they won't be the worst team in this division by far. But they are showing their age, especially at quarterback. Carson Palmer, my goodness. They should have got a quarterback, but they're probably waiting till next year to do that. I don't see them being a playoff runner. And if they are, by surprise, they ain't going to make a Super Bowl run. There's too many flaws in that team, too many inconsistencies. They have David Johnson, of course, which is a phenomenal player. They have the ever so beloved Larry Fitzgerald, one of my favorite players personally too. And they have a stout defense, but they also have a bunch of weaknesses. Offensive line being one. They did lose some players this year. They lost Tony Jefferson, Calais Campbell, two premier players to other teams. And I just don't see them having that fight again to be able to make a playoff run. They're just going to be second best for now until they can get their situation at quarterback especially all sorted out. I see them going 7-9, 8-8 at the most, maybe even 9-7, but they won't make a premier playoff run. I'm sorry, Cardinals fans. This is me being truthful. It's not being me biased. Not me being biased. Me being truthful. I see them going a 500 team at the most. You have there. Now we have the ever so beloved 49ers here. I must say they did make a really good draft moves. Especially, for Reuben Foster. I was a little peeved about that because I remember the Seahawks trading down with them to get into the second round. I understand why they did it. They didn't want to pay first round money. They didn't see it as a necessity for Reuben Foster. But in the back of my mind too, I was hoping maybe they would, using him at outside linebacker, or maybe just using him as, whatever they want to use him as. Or just get an offensive lineman. But they found that later in the ladder. But the 49ers made out like bandits in this year's draft. They finessed the Bears because they were trigger happy, wanted to get Mitch Trubisky. Nobody knows why. Not even the analyst thought that beforehand. Why they did that now, they're desperate. They're very desperate. And the 49ers made out like a bandit just to move down one spot and get the guy they always wanted. I mean, who wouldn't want that? So yeah, they did really good. I'd say great first draft moves by who's their new GM? John Lynch. Yeah, John Lynch, and new coach too. I think it was, what was his name? Kyle Shanahan. There you go, Kyle Shanahan. Great moves by them. They're building a stout defense at the moment. I have to say, very stout defense. It could be a competitor in the future, but their offensive inconsistencies, as of right now, their offensive side of the ball does not really reflect how I feel Kyle Shanahan wants them. And that's the thing with most first-year teams, too. You can't really turn around a team in that sort of time. It's very hard to, I might add. It's very hard to. Especially with the pieces you were dealt with. But in terms of the draft, they look good, primed for a year or two from now. But at this moment, I see them being sort of in the same tier as the Rams, but looking better in the future. I'll give you that, guys. I'll give you all that. So I see 6-10, 5-11 team. At the worst, 2-14 like last year. You're not really going to make a premier playoff run. I'm sorry, I don't see it. But yeah, you can call me whatever you want in the comments. Because we all know which team comes next. The best for last. Ah, yes. The Seattle Seahawks. By far, last season, by a wide margin, the best team in this division. The gap kind of closes here now, but it's still noticeable. It's very noticeable to see that the Seahawks are still in their prime, a championship contender team. They haven't lost any of their core. They did last year due to injuries, but I believe they'll come back stronger than ever. Cam Chancellor had surgery on his feet that had been bothering for a couple years, and he's saying he's felt better than ever. I hope that's the case. Just praying injuries don't become a concern for this team or any of the teams, at least. I want every team to do their best. I want it to be very competitive. I love watching competitive football. But that being said, they do have their weaknesses. I have to admit, they have their weaknesses. Offensive line, fairly addressed, I have to say. Luke Jokel was a cool acquisition, I have to say. I like how they got a real offensive lineman instead of trying to convert a defensive lineman to offensive. It'll be nice to see what he can do. I know he was quote unquote a bust, but I really don't see that yet. I want to give him a chance in Seattle before you coined him the term of bust. Maybe it was just a location. Maybe he just needs to find his footing again. He wasn't the worst of the worst, I'd say, but I could see improvement coming his way. What else? Russell Wilson's back healthier, I say. Just need to focus on the offensive line, not letting him down and getting hurt. Defensively, you have the core. Cornerback is still a tricky situation because Deshaun Shedd was hurt. That seems like an area of concern. Depth on the Seattle Seahawks is kind of a concern, especially in the backfield. Injuries that do take course can lead to unexpected twisted or turns. But, sorry, that's my dog. But I do see them coming out on top. I do see them winning the division overall. Sorry to spoil it, but yes, they're going to win the division. It's no-brainers. The record, looking at it, I know they had some tough games in there. I'd say probably 14-2 at the best. 11-5 or 10-6 at the least. 11-5 probably at the least amount of wins they'll get. They have a relatively easy schedule, in my opinion. They have a lot of competitive teams coming to their house, so I think that gives them a slight advantage. But yeah, that's going to do it for the NFC West. I have the Seahawks going, I'm going to say 12-4. Yeah, 12-4. 49ers 5-11. Sorry about that. Yeah, 49ers 5-11. Cardinals 8-8, and the Rams 4-12. So that's gonna be it for this episode, at least. Be sure to tune in for the next one. Leave any comments down below if me having disagreements, or just even shouting out your favorite team would be great. Thank you, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. All right, goodbye.